So, Paul,
Yes.
what is your first or one of your first memories with this wonderful game, franchise, corporation, everything around this Pokemon business?
So, let's see. It all started when I was a child. Uh, no,
I mean, there's a lot around this whole thing. So,
yeah,
you know, there's the show, there's the video game, there's the cards,
yeah.
there's
It's
offshoot
a
video games.
20-year-old franchise that's
Yeah.
it's really bloomed at this point. You know, they've kind of proven that it's a brand name, and you can slap the Pokemon name onto anything, and it'll sell like hotcakes. So
Yeah, and one thing I was talking to Emily about earlier was because she after going into Pokemon Go and like having fun with this, she was like, let me go check out my Pokemon cards because she has a binder full that she got from her parents' house, and she has a lot actually. She has way more than I've ever had, and I said, I was like, you know what, one of the reasons why there hasn't been any really like successful trading card games that were along the same lines as Pokemon was because everything that would come after it that was focused around collecting like little creatures, they would just kind of end up being Pokemon pretenders. Like they'd be like imitators, you know what I mean?
It all just ends up getting compared ultimately to Pokemon, and
yeah,
it's kind of, I don't know, everybody seemed to, whatever magic it was, that everybody seemed to fall in love with it back 20 years ago, and that's just kind of how it is, I guess.
Yeah, so how was it for you? Did you play the cards first, or watch the show first, or the video games? How did you interact with this wonderful world?
Let's see. Probably the first thing that happened to me, I found my first Pokemon card on the playground at Neil Armstrong Elementary School before it was even a middle school.
Oh, okay.
That I had no idea what it was. You know, I knew it was a Pokemon card. I knew it was like, the cool thing kind of thing. But I picked it up and had no idea what it even signified, what it even meant. But I thought I was one of the cool kids because I had one. And
heck yeah, man.
Yeah, and I went and, I don't know, I think I found it by like the swing set kind of thing, and brought it into the cafeteria and showed my friends. And I was like, oh, hey, look what I found out there. I found this card, and I showed it to them. It was a good old Fighting Energy. It wasn't even any sort of Pokemon whatsoever.
It was one of those like orb cards or whatever.
Yeah, supplemental cards. I had no idea what it was. It just had a little like fist on it, and I thought it was really cool. So, so I showed it to them, and they all just kind of looked at me. They were like, "So what?" Kind of ruined my thunder a little bit, but
you were like, "This is good, right?"
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I was getting ready to trade it away and everything, but nobody wanted it.
No.
But no, that definitely. I think that probably getting that, and then having my friends go and show me their collections and seeing what kind of cool cards there were out there, that really got me started. And I'm sure I went to Toys R Us within the first couple days or so, and went out and got my first booster packs and starter packs. And I think the starter pack at that point, I definitely remember it came with the holographic Machamp, and that card was so cool.
And you still have it today, and it's worth $10,000.
That's what they all say, yeah. But no, it was cool. It was a lot of fun. It really did, it added that extra playground element kind of thing. I do remember kids, you'd bring your cards to school and you'd trade them, and you'd I don't know if anybody really, I mean, at that point, geez, we were in elementary school, so I don't know if anybody really understood the game itself to actually play it. But
right.
But we'd at least trade it, and to the point where they actually, like the school administration and teachers and whatnot, ended up making rules to not allow us to have Pokemon cards during the school day. It got to be a little bit of a problem, I guess.
Typical.
But no, that still wouldn't stop us from trading on the bus or anything like that, or being sneaky in between. After recess or something like that. I don't know.
The Pokemon black market.
Exactly. Ultimately. Stranger things have happened. But but yeah, so I got started with the trading cards, um, and then I did end up between my brother and my sister, we all ended up playing the games themselves on the Game Boy Color. I don't know when that would have happened. Probably relatively. It was probably like Christmas that year or something. I'm sure at that point we were all hooked on it, and we're all asking for it for as gifts, and we got started with those games, and it's all been uphill. It's all been downhill from there.
Uh-huh. Did you? How many of the Game Boy games did you play? Have you been playing them since they came out with like? I don't know. I mean, the recent one is Sun and Moon, which I don't think is even out yet. But
Right. Yeah.
but, they came out with a bunch of them.
Yeah. I did kind of lose interest, probably throughout, I don't know, middle school or high school. I probably thought I was trying to be one of the cool kids by looking down on Pokemon or something like that.
Oh
But
no!
oh no, how dare I? But
Wow.
no, I think I did skip a generation. But ultimately, I did play the first. I had Pokemon Yellow was my first one. My brother had Pokemon Blue. My sister had Pokemon Red. It was quite adorable. But and then so I mean we had that first generation, and then after that I think I had Silver. My brother had Gold, and my sister probably didn't really care about it that much anymore. But
Uh-huh.
but but yeah, so I went through generations 1 and 2, and I think the first generation on the Game Boy Advance, that Ruby and Sapphire, I kind of skipped over a little bit, and still to this day haven't played them. Um, but I'm really not at all familiar with that generation of Pokemon at all. Um, but then, yeah, since then, I even picked it up for the DS and got Platinum, and played
Ooh.
played Black, and played White also separately. But no, it's the games are addicting, man. They're those uh, turn-based
Oh no!
ja-
Turn-based.
the JRPG kind of thing that it's a good formula that works, and it's addicting.
Right, right. Well,
What
when I was
what
younger,
about you?
I think
Yeah.
my first uh my first experiences with it was definitely the TV show.
Hmm.
I think even when I was in like second or third grade, I would get up in the morning and I would watch it like right before school. Like as soon as it ended, it was time to go to school.
Yeah.
And I was really into the TV show. I really loved the universe in the same way that somebody who would like, read the Harry Potter books would just be like that's all they could think about. Like, there wasn't a trading card game for Harry Potter. There wasn't like, there were video games and all that stuff, but it was just liking the universe and just
Yeah.
like imagining it around you and wanting to be part of that. That
Yeah.
was definitely kind of my experience with it. I didn't play the cards. I had cards because I went to my cousin's garage sale, and he had a whole binder full, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'll sell you some." And I was like, "Oh, that sounds awesome. I would love to buy some." And then his aunt was, or his grandma, which is my aunt, was like, "You better give him those Pokemon cards. Don't make him buy them." Blah 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 blah. So I ended up with free Pokemon cards. Looking back, I was like, "Oh God, cringe."
God.
Like I feel bad now that I kind of stole those Pokemon cards off my cousin, but I was younger, so teaching lessons.
It's allowable. Yeah.
Yeah, and there were some good ones in there. There was like the Pikachu, and I remember there was like a holographic like Wigglytuff or something like that. I don't know how good that is, but didn't really play the cards. Didn't
Yeah.
play the video games. I didn't play the Game Boy games at all.
Yeah.
But I did play Pokemon Stadium enough to be like, wow, turn-based games are not for me. Definitely not. I like went through the gyms and everything.
Yeah.
And I got to the last gym, but I mean, it was based on no skill whatsoever. I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
I was like, I know like flying means that you can dodge a burrowing attack and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
basically,
it looked cool to see everything in 3D, though. I'm sure, but
yeah, definitely. And I loved Pokemon Snap too. That game was a lot of fun.
Mhm.
When I was younger, it took me probably months to beat the whole thing, and then when I revisited it as like a I think it was like I was a college student the last time I played it, and it took an hour and a half. Nevertheless, it was a fun experience. But that's kind of why I'm like really loving that they came out with Pokemon Go, just because like it allows me to revisit this universe where that was created a long time ago, especially because they're using the original 150, and they're not using these other like newer generations of Pokemon that I'm really like kind of like taken back to the good old days of the simpler times of Pokemon.
Yeah, it really adds to the nostalgia factor, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, going through high school and college, both you and I had friends who were, ever since Pokemon came out, in the 90s, like they rode it all the way to today, where they got everything. I remember I was watching RJ, one of our friends, play it on the DS, and I was like, what Pokemon is that? And they told me the name. I don't remember the name, but I was like, is that a garbage bag?
Yep.
And he was like, yeah, that's the garbage Pokemon.
The garbage Pokemon.
Are you kidding me?
And he evolves into a dumpster.
Oh my, is that true?
Maybe.
Oh my god. But yeah, I did not follow that stuff, but I mean, man, and I'm with you where I remember talking about Pokemon with my friends when I was in elementary school, and that also in my school, in Catholic school, was ultimately banned, and we were not allowed to bring it up. And then later on in middle school, Yu-Gi-Oh was banned, and all that kind of stuff. That happened. But I just went back also after playing the game a little bit. They came out with that Pokemon Origins anime. Have you ever watched that?
I have not. No.
It's like, as far as I know, it's only 4 episodes long, but it was made in 2013, which actually follows the character Red, the original like Pokemon game like character.
Yeah.
And he goes on. He has a couple. It's only 4 episodes long, but it follows the plot of the game pretty much. I mean, as far as Emily played it when she was younger, so she can verify that you get the bike to be able to ride around town faster. You go from Viridian to like Lavender or whatever. And all that stuff, Team Rocket, all that stuff that a lot of it that I think was not necessarily canon in the anime from the old days, is kind of present in here. There's an anime that tells the story of the video game, the first video game. So it's pretty cool. I'm enjoying it so far. I think I'm only like 2 episodes in, so halfway through, but it's a good time.
Yeah. That sounds like it. That certainly sounds like it.
Let's see, what else? I was definitely into the merchandise. I had a lot of toys, like little figures and stuff that were Pokemon related.
Yeah.
I had like some t-shirts. And but really it was kind of like, you have these franchises where there are some people that aren't invested in it the way that the corporation or like the company kind of intended, but they just are in love with the universe of it. That was kind of like somebody who I was definitely someone who loved just the aspect of collecting the Pokemon. I had like the book that explained all the Pokemon, and I was one of those that was like a big, just out of the video game type collector. I was like, I associate with like this type of Pokemon. Like I would love to, be in that universe and collect this type of Pokemon, blah, blah, blah. So that was definitely the kind of person I was. But like I said, going back, I'm excited. I'm really excited to see what comes out of the app, because, what we're looking at right now, and it's mega buggy and like
servers are down
kind of form is really just the beginning of I'd love to have like a whole like conversation on what could possibly come out of this in terms of using this technology for other games, but also adding in more Pokemon. And I mean, I'm sure at some point they'll allow you to battle real time with other people, so that would be like really awesome. But yeah, super excited. That's why I got it, because I was like, this is super popular, and everybody from all over the world and all sorts of all different generations are having fun with it. So
it's really creating this new community kind of thing that it's pretty incredible.
Absolutely. I love seeing on Reddit and on Instagram and on all the blogs about the pictures that people are sharing, and a lot of the stories that people are sharing, which I would love to have a conversation about in the future. Around the game. So that'll definitely be really interesting.
Yeah, agreed. And yeah, exactly like you said that like the subreddit for Pokemon Go itself is one of the most active subreddits I think I've seen
Oh yeah.
in the past couple of weeks. That's for sure. And it's it's pretty amazing how much this has taken off. And again, like you said, all the stories and all the even just straight up memes that are coming out of it, and just it's just a fun community to start over again, and really it's going to be interesting to see, and really exciting to see where this app takes off, and what comes of the app itself, and like you said, what this could mean for apps and for games in the future and whatnot, and how this could change I don't know, some of the collectible franchises and different things like that. That it's very cool. It's very cool.
Oh yeah, for sure.